Hey there, hope you're doing well. Give me just a second to get everything set up here. If you don't mind, please, that would be great. One more day to the weekend. Hallelujah. Let's do happy happy Thursday. I don't know if there's a saying for Thursday or not, but maybe we'll make one up. Let me get everybody. Let's see who's participants. Hang on one second. Hey, Augustin, hope you're doing well, buddy. Chris, good to see you. Shirley, Tom, Willie. Um, I know it's going to be a light turnout tonight because we just had a GIA launch session last night, and that's one we do every 4 months. So last night was of course, the first one we've done in 4 months. So it tends to draw a crowd. So it's probably going to be pretty light tonight. So we'll give everybody another minute to get on here. Then we'll jump into the subject, and we'll have some lively discussions. So let me go ahead and promote you to panelists. And that way we can see your wonderful, beautiful faces. Okay, let's see. I think we're almost done here. Hang on one second. Let's see, Shirley. Chris. Hey, Chris, I think I'm going to be able to finally connect with Gil tonight. We've been playing phone tag for about three days now. And he's getting ready to go away for the weekend for a birthday. So hopefully that connection will occur tonight. Okay, I think that is everyone. So we're all live video and we're recording, of course. So welcome aboard, everybody. Good to see you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got an 11 including me, and 12 including a little guy named Saki. So remember Saki, Tom? So he's I'm pampering him. He's getting some kitty thyroid medicine. So he's very needy. In any case, all right. Just to make sure I cover all the administrative stuff, tomorrow Beverly will send out the recording of this along with any other announcements, scheduling updates, and so forth. One big change I wanted to reiterate, I think I mentioned it last week, is these weekly classes are shifting to Monday only, same time, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and we are anywhere in between. The GIA team call, which is just for GIA members going forward, will always be the second Wednesday. So that means the next one is going to be on the 10th, okay? The 10th of February. And then, as you recall, every 4 months, I'm going to teach and deliver content through the gigs, through the global investor groups. So on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of February, at 7 p.m. in your time zone, I'll be teaching this next time. So the next class, the next gig session you have, you simply just send out what Beverly sends you. She's already set up the Zoom links. So it's instead of using your normal Zoom link, you would connect people to the one that Beverly sends out, and also send out the. This is really important to your database of your clients. Is you can invite agents too, obviously, but when February's classes that I'll be teaching are content from the investor programs. Then this one in February happens to be on flipping. So on the flipping one, I'll be going through. It probably take me 1.5 hours. I'm guessing could be anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. I'm going to guess an hour and a half. So this is one you definitely want to send out. What Beverly sent you, she's going to send you what we call the launch sequence, and all you do is you really plug in your name and send it out to your database in the sequence that she gives you. And I think it's like a total of 3 emails. Even if there's people in your database that you haven't had a discussion with about investing, you just never know, they may be interested in learning how to flip homes, and it's free. So in any case, keep that in mind. And you also want to, of course, put it out there on your Facebook page, LinkedIn, any of the channels that you have. So that's the February gig sessions. a couple of more points here. I'm going to reiterate some of this next Wednesday on the 3rd. We got a special class just for agent attraction. More to come on that next Wednesday. But what I want to start doing, guys, is I want to encourage you to invite your agent prospects, people you're looking to attract to the team. Invite them to the weekly classes instead of the monthly GIA team call. The reason is the last monthly GIA team call, we had a good turnout. We had a number of guests there. But what I found out was that this is I'm going to take complete responsibility for this. I found myself wanting to cater to them and getting off my track, which is the GIA team call. The primary purpose of the GIA team call is for all of us to get together and talk about our projects, things like the gigs, for example, or our production competition going on between now and the end of March, things like that. So I found myself getting distracted, wanting to, not entertain them, but basically entertain them. And I felt like it was a disservice to you. So I thought the weekly classes make sense because I've been doing it for 5 years. We've always had guests come on the weekly classes. I'm already used to that. And I just teach like I normally do. I'll mention things about the team, but I'm not trying to entertain anybody or, do anything special just because of there. I want them to just observe us and how we operate. So, in any case, keep that in mind. You're welcome to invite any of your guests to the weekly classes, but the monthly GIA team call will kind of keep to just us. Okay, let me go back to the agenda for tonight. So, what I'm going to do is wrap up the month of January. So, this is the last meeting we'll have in January. I'm going to talk about some marketing and some basic fundamentals on growing your business. And we've covered some of these over the last 3 weeks, prior 3 weeks. Yep. And I want to kind of summarize it and bring it all together, bring it home and make it all make sense. And we can even open up the mics and do some role playing if you like. But so within that framework, what I want to do is go over to a document. And if I can find out where it is. Oh, here it is. Investor agent marketing step by step. So what this is, we're actually going to put this online. We're going to put this in. Matter of fact, we may have already done that. Let me go to our website. We're going to put it on the marketing tab on the website. Let's see if it's already there. Okay. Perfect. Okay, it's not there yet. So here's what I'm getting at. It's very tempting to jump around in the marketing. If you look at back at the marketing tab, let me go back there real quick. The marketing campaigns are presented here in alphabetical order, which is not necessarily the order in which you execute the campaigns. They're just alphabetical order. Okay. B is the first. There's nothing begins with the A, I guess, but booklet, build your database, bus tour, buyer presentation, so forth and so on. What's important though is that you understand the sequence of marketing. So marketing, of course, is its own industry. There's, people get advanced degrees in marketing and that's all they do. They spend their whole life mastering the subject. And I'm definitely not a master. I've just been doing it a long, long time and had to learn, the old saying, I went to the school of hard knocks. So one of the things I want to emphasize is that at different levels of production, you would use different marketing based on your level of production in particular, and also partly based on your audience, and sometimes even where you are. So those are the three factors. Number one is where you are in production. Okay. Number two is who you're marketing to, your client base, your market, and number three is to lesser degree geographically where you are. So within that light, let's just go over this. Everybody, even advanced agents, should always be number one, focusing on your database, keeping it clean, adding to it. And if you look in the campaign, building your database, there's a checklist you can get with specific instructions on how to always be on guard to add people to your database, how to build it initially, and how to keep it clean. So I would absolutely, it doesn't matter if you're level 1 producer or level 5 producer, in fact, some of the most successful agents I've ever known, they actually made their database a greater focus as time went on, as they became more successful. They were more intentional about their maintaining their database. That's why when you first get in the business, most veterans will say, "Hey, your database is your gold. Your database is number one." And I'm guilty of not paying attention in my early days. My thought was, I don't have time for all that. I need to get a commission, right? So it turns out this is how you do that. Um, your database is your goal. So in that checklist, it gives you all the instructions. So point number one is this. No matter where on your business, this is one of those things you will always do. It's just like karate. You know, the white belt and the black belt both practice the same kata. It's just the black belt has done it a million times. Okay. And so the more you do it, the better you get. Repetition is the mother of retention, the mother of success. So in any case, hopefully I emphasize that enough. I couldn't emphasize it more how important this is. In any case, level one, you'll have some basic campaigns like a booklet campaign for branding and promoting yourself and things like that. Getting listings, you should always have some type of a basic letter campaign going out. And soon to come to the marketing campaign tab is the farming and circle prospecting I've been promoting all month long. So let me do this. I'm going to just stop sharing screen for just a second and open up the lines here. So far this month, just give me a hand raise or undo your mute button. Let me know. Have you, if I've spoken to you about farming and circle prospecting, just let me know if you've actually started it or started planning for it. If you could just let me know, there's only 10 of us on here, 11 of us on here. So don't be shy. So any hands, anywhere, anybody? I'm going once, going twice. I'll give you $1 million. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to doing it in next week when all of my other stuff's done. I'm really looking forward to it. Been thinking about my neighborhoods and stuff.
Well, I'll let you slide because you've only got 137 active transactions right now. You know. So well, I understand, and as I get it, I'm a product of the business, and that's why sometimes I try to be careful how I present myself or present something, because you can have the best plan in the world, and you wake up, the phone starts ringing, the emails start coming in, and our nature is to be responsive, right? We want to respond to the client's request for our time and prospects, especially a new prospect that could be a client. Will I drop everything, right? And I understand that. So that's why I come back to the planning, where you time block. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. We're all friends here. Let me take off my background. Whoops, that was the wrong button. Hang on one second. I'm going to turn off my background. That was still on from last night. And you get to see what we call the mountain room. Okay. So in here, okay, you're going to see an X lightly drawn between 1 and 3 o'clock, but I've overwritten some appointments there. That was only the last day or so. I always leave 2 hours free every day when I plan, just to absorb the stuff that comes on a daily basis. So does that make sense, guys? Mm-hmm. It's essentially part of time blocking, and part of time blocking is when you're planning your week and setting appointments, is to be careful not to schedule every single hour, because every day you wake up, there's going to be some. Oh, Melody's on. Hey, Melody, hang on just 1 second. So Melody, I'm going to promote you, and Beverly, I'm going to promote you too. Yay, there you are. So Melody's absolutely right. Sometimes we call that white space, and I know it's a discipline, and sometimes it's difficult to remain disciplined. But I'm here to tell you, the more that you do that, you will find yourself being more calm, more at peace, more relaxed, and quite frankly, more successful. And by the way, Have you ever noticed how people who are really good at managing their time tend to garnish a lot of they get a lot of respect. Would you agree? We tend to respect them more. They're in control, and we operate on their schedule. So you can be that person. I'm telling you, I'm living proof. Tom's probably known me the longest in this entire group. And in the early days, and I was always kind of a hardworking, just my nature, but I wasn't very structured early on. I was like a lot of agents. I really was just trying to keep my head above water, and glad that every time the phone rang, and I would just drop everything. And you've seen that. You're out to dinner, and the phone rings, and realtor friends takes the call, right? Um, so what I'm getting at is, I did it out of necessity. My two grown children now in their 20s, almost 30, were little, and I thought, I don't want to have them grow up and think, all dad did was talk on the phone and work all the time. My dad was in Korea for a year, in Vietnam for a year. That's 2 years out of my childhood. Well, I didn't have my dad for a year at a time. Okay. So my pendulum swung way the other way. And I did a lot of times I was like the only dad going to the school play or the school party and reading to the kids. It was a little bit awkward, admittedly, but they remember that stuff. So I'm only telling you this to kind of emphasize a point. Necessity drives invention, right? And when you make something a higher priority by doing your vision exercise and goals and activities and planning, um, and you put it on your plan, it becomes real. The only challenge is how do you react to things that pop up every day? And the answer is, like Melanie said, is the white space. Just do yourself a favor and promise me. My hope and wish and prayer is that if you do that one thing, I promise you'll feel better. It may seem awkward because it's counterintuitive. You're thinking, well, I got to work as much as I can, right? Um, but I'm here to tell you, and I don't know if I can come up with the right words. It is one of the most important things I've ever learned. Absolutely, hands down, one of the most important things I've ever learned was to put in those 2 hours. I mean, Melanie, do you try to do that too when you're doing your? Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You can fall in love with time blocking. I was a hot mess before. Like I put in there, I was a Pop-Tart agent and like worked every hour, minute. I'm a workaholic or whatever. So it was a big learning curve for me. When you start to like time blocking, you can get carried away because I have an obsessive compulsive whatever. And so I was like, time block every minute and like, oh, I'm going to do this. It's so productive. And then you get yourself in trouble because things pop up and then your plan goes away. So I pretty much leave at least 2 hours. Ideally, if I had more than 2 hours free, I think that'd be a little bit better, but at least 2 hours white space in there. And I learned to give breaks in between my appointments so I can put my thoughts on paper. What are my to-dos, where they're supposed to go instead of just randomness. And that really helps, really helps.
Oh, yeah.
Totally awkward the first time you do it, and and remembering to look at it once you time block, and they have to look at your what was I supposed to be doing? So but it's made me so much more productive. And you mentioned the sense of calm, and that's the one thing that I keep telling people, it makes you so much more productive, but really it's this sense of calm, like because you're going to get to everything, you have it all planned out, and it's just, and then you still have space for I need this now.
Yep. And you're the perfect example, because I just happened to notice as you were speaking, your office is spick and span. I can't imagine an office cleaner than that. So in any case,
you guys, what do you do when your task way spills over its time slot?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to jump in.
I was just say, just start drinking,
I don't drink. That's a problem.
What I'll do is, I want to get Melanie's and other people's perspectives too. But I will tell you, for me, when that happens, when something looks like it's going to go longer than I anticipated, because I've leave the blank space in there. Like I always leave, the first blank spot I leave is in the morning, literally 9 to 10. It's a great trick. And then in the afternoon, I started adjusting and leaving 2 hours instead of just one. And every evening after dinner, like tonight after our call, I did schedule a webinar here. I did schedule a student call with a guy in California, actually, Chris, your friend Gil. Okay. I'm okay with that because I left time to do that. So I had that spillover opportunity. Now, even when it goes beyond that, Susan, you know, what you want to do is go back at the end of the day. Okay, so planning is a multi-stage process, right? Annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, hourly. So every week I look at the past week and then plan and complete planning the next week. Every month I do the same thing, do the same thing quarterly. On a daily basis, I do the same thing. So what I do, Susan, if there's things I didn't accomplish, I right away go to the next day and see, do I want to go and cash in my free time chip for one of those hours and use that, or is it something I can put off till a day like Thursday, Friday, whatever, or later in the week, where I know I'd have some spots I have not yet plotted out yet, and I'll do that. So it's a matter of judging: is it something urgent next 24 hours, or something that can wait 3 days? I also will look into the next week. Okay, as a last resort, I'll look to the weekend. Now I would bill you. I'm telling you, I've actually done this month so far. I think I've put time in every single weekend, but not the entire day. Just enough time to absorb the flow. And then, Susan, if it becomes a regular pattern, you may need to um, adjust how much time you're plotting in for your routine activities, or add more time on the free time block to absorb it. Because probably what's happening is um, you're still scheduling maybe too much. In other words, you're thinking something a half hour, it usually ends up being an hour. Go ahead and adjust to the hour or whatever that activity is. And I've had to do that too. In fact, this last year was a perfect example. I'm having a lot of these calls with students from other companies calling about the team, stuff like that. I'm thinking I can do that in a half hour. On a regular basis, I'm like, can't go to the restroom because I don't have enough time. Like Melanie said, I don't leave that buffer time. And at the end of the day, I've got a whole list of things I've got to do yet. So that's where I came up with the extra hour. You see what I'm saying? Necessity drives invention. So, and again, like Melanie said, it's going to seem counterintuitive. It's going to it's a change that doesn't seem right because you're thinking you need that time to generate revenue. But I'm here to tell you, and it maybe is a leap of faith, you will still generate revenue and probably more. Okay. And just still become. So Melanie, kind of, if you don't mind chime in, I don't know if what else, I mean, everybody may have their own way of doing things, and I'd love
yeah.
these.
No, I love what you said, and I'm kind of obsessive about it because time management was my goal last year to master that skill. So I read like 15 books on it, so I'm happy to talk about it. But what helped me the most is like getting things done. Part of it is thinking about really clear goals on what has to be done, what's a must do, versus what I could do. Because it's easy for people to feel good checking things off the list. I did it, but does it really matter? So I love this. I don't remember who said it. I wish I could give him credit, but I remember learning this one tip. It's like everything that goes on your calendar. Well, sometimes I'll tell you to limit it to 3 things that are your must-dos each day. But if it makes it on your calendar, it has to defend itself and it has to tie directly to your goal. So it's like, does it really worth it? So if we're thinking about lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiate contracts, go on appointments, and practicing our scripts and dialogues as our job description, spending 80% of our time, is 80% of our day time blocked to do those activities? And if not, how can I get rid of this, delegate it? Do I really need to do it? And that kind of thing. The other thing that I love that you said, Gary, I do the same thing in my mornings. I time block time to work on my business before I talk to people. So I don't turn on my phone. I don't turn on my email, nothing. I don't do any of that first thing. It's working on my business, quiet time, focus. So this morning, my item was actually working on my orientation, onboarding, systems in that. And then if you erase it, remember to replace it. Getting things done, GTD method, he did a brilliant job of, and it's this whole methodology, and I don't even know how to say that word apparently, but what I liked about the tips that he put, one was when you're making your list, make it in a way where you like, so my list would go at computer. I use Trello to organize. So one says at computer. When I'm at the computer, what are the items I have to do at the computer?
Yeah.
Call, text, what, you know, so in your list like that. So when you're have that thing open, you can do your other things and knock them out. And 2-minute tasks, do them right away. If it's more than 2 minutes, then do it another day. And if you're concerned about your time, I did put time study, and then you mentioned the time. Yeah, track your time for a couple days. When you started an activity, what you're doing during the activity, how you're feeling about it. Sometimes when you can get things done faster if you do them at a different time of day when your brain is fresh. And then other easy tasks, schedule them for the times where you don't need to think so much, and like it maybe later in the day. So that's just what I don't want to take over the whole thing, but that's just what I was thinking.
Perfect. Okay. Any other feedback, guys? This is your time, and you know we're all family here. So if you got anything to share,
Yeah, hey, that was great, Gary and Melanie. I tell you, I took a great free course with Franklin Planner. It's free, it's online, and it helps you to use your planner and focus your day really well. I could put it in the chat box if anybody wants to take it.
sure. Yeah.
That's
And that's
great.
actually that's what I've been using for 32 years now.
It's a free class, and it's really good. It helps you to prioritize, and there's things you don't think about that you got to get done for your family and for your clubs you belong to, and it really puts it all together and helps you get everything done.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents gave this to me, 32 years ago. They gave it to me as a gift when I graduated the first grade.
That's awesome.
I just kidding.
No, they didn't.
In 89 holes, I was already, I don't know, 20 something, 26. Yeah, holy smokes. Okay. Okay. Any other question on that subject? It is very relevant because the entire month, remember, we were doing some marketing, basic, fundamental, work on your database, build your farm, all that basic stuff you should always be doing, whether you're new or a veteran. Every veteran I've ever met, would you agree the best agents are good at planning, they're good at working on a database, and they're also good at managing their farm? Would you agree? Almost, I mean, everybody I can think of that's like done hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions. That's like common, and you get better at it. It's not like you have to be born that way. Don't worry if you're not doing it now. Don't let the past be in the past. All right. Just listen to, people who've been around and have done it. And remember, there's a lot of value in hanging around people who are where you want to be. And I promise you'll get there one day too. I can't tell you when. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, but I'm telling you, it's a mathematical certainty that you will. Okay. So what I want to do now is go back to the marketing. All right. So, and I'm gonna touch on one more thing. Let me do one more thing. So we're talking about planning, and I'll go back to marketing. All right. So we've since December we've been focusing on the coaching part of things: vision exercise, goals exercise, actions exercise, and planning exercise. Clearly, this is all about planning. When you do your vision, it's in written form typically. Okay. And so are your goals and your plans. So what I want everybody to do this weekend is break out your vision and your goals and pick out the top 6 things, like maybe something about your business, something about your family, something about travel, your physical health, your spiritual health, whatever those things are. And it could be 5, it could be 7, but on average 6. And go into Google and Google free picks and whatever your subject is. Free picks, world travel. Okay. And then just go through them. I mean, honestly, this is all a matter of minutes. This isn't like hours. This one's easy. And you'll see like 5 pictures that resonate with you, save them for that subject, then go to the next subject, save 6 pictures, 5 pictures, whatever. And then when you're done, go to your pictures file on your computer and go through them. The 5 that had to do with travel, settle on one. Just do process elimination. Get rid of the one you can live without the most, then get rid of the next one and focus on the one that survives the elimination process. Then do the same thing with your your business pictures. And then what I do is I create a, I think I showed you this the other week. I put them in a Word doc. Okay. I'm literally creating my own portable vision board. Okay. So I create a Word doc with the photos embedded in there. And so I always have these to pull out and look at every morning when I have breakfast. Okay. And it's a visual reminder of my vision for my life and what I'm aiming towards. And as I matured over the years, in the beginning, it was all, cars and, Ferraris and mansions and yachts. That was my vision. Now it's my family, my friends, and being able to experience everything that God gave us in this world. So, any case, and I hope that you'll experience the same kind of journey, but do that, because even when you're in a hurry, you're going to stop and eat something sometime, somewhere, hopefully not in the car. But when you have finance, pull that out, look at it to remind yourself, because you're going to have days like Susan was talking about. It's just the water's over the dam. It just is. And even in spite of our best efforts, it's still going to happen. It's just now you know how to react to it, okay, and get back to the calm state. And I'll be the first to admit there are times where I'm like, you know what, I don't want to put this off to next day or next week, whatever. And I will stay up an extra hour to get stuff done. It's painful, and I don't want to make a habit out of it. But sometimes I will opt to do that, so that I can have the next day, like say Saturday or something, completely free. It's worth for me to devote the extra hour. I don't like to make that a habit, but I make sure I have the time at the end of the day. So if I have to use it, that's like in a football game at the end, when your team's down by 6 points, you got one play left, a second on the clock, and you're 80 yards away from the goal line. You do a Hail Mary pass, right? That's what I use that for. So, but that's Plan C. Plan B should be C Plan A, and Plan C is, you know what, you just got to get it done today. So, and I'll give you one of my famous sayings. Truly successful people, really in any walk of life, the real champions, the real winners, they always give the extra step. At the end of the day, they write one more thank you note. Okay, they send one more email, one more text, whatever, one more Facebook post, one more thing. And I promise you this: if you do that, say that's 5 minutes. Where's my computer? Let's look at my phone here. If you do that for 5 minutes every day, so let's do the math on this. 365 times 5 equals 1,825 minutes, right? Divided by 60 minutes is 30 hours. In 30 hours, what can you get done? You get an awful lot done. I bet you in 30 hours, you could probably get 3 more deals, okay? Right? 10 hours per deal on average, maybe. I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And it's only 5 minutes, So, in any case, back. You guys okay if we go back to the marketing? Okay. Let's see. We talked about your database. So, database should always be number one. So, let me go back to that document. Okay. You should always have some type of a branding or promotional campaign going. I like booklets because you can treat them and run them like a newsletter. It's automatic. It's every month you send it out. Everybody gets used to it. It's constant front of mind presence. It has to be something of value or people won't look at it, So I suggest use some of the content you have in the program material. Go to the YouTube channel, grab some video links, go in here, grab some calculators and forms and spreadsheets. All right. Share them with your prospects and your clients. In fact, in the marketing campaigns, remember each one has 3 different drip campaigns, one on wholesaling, one on rentals, and one on flipping. And each one of them, and I think I showed you this a few weeks back. I'm going to show it again. If you click on the flipping drip campaign document, there's a list of videos in here. So if you click on them, and this is the really cool part about this, they're unbranded. So you plug it in. You giving this to your prospects, okay? Unbranded means it's me in the video teaching, but they don't see my name. And there's no YouTube stuff all around distracting people. Nobody's selling anything. We're simply instructing. They're like 3-minute videos, and each one that has some form of document that I'm covering, like an analysis sheet, calculator, information form. We actually provide that as a download on the landing page. So this link is a landing page.
Hi, Gary, excuse me, we can't see your screen. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but we just can't see your screen. I don't know if you were sharing it with us or not, but we.
Yeah, I apologize. And Melanie, I never do that. That's the first time that's ever happened, you know? No, just kidding. I'm famous for getting to share my screen. So the video is just instruction, and the download is the document I'm going over in the video. Okay. So back in here, let's see, where was that? Strategy, investor. Oh, here it is. This document here is what came off of this came off of the marketing campaign right in here. These are clickable Word docs. So what I'm getting at is you always have a way of maintaining contact with your database by giving them something of value. And if you do your marketing correctly, you should segment your database. In other words, tag them. Most of us have CRMs that allow us to add custom fields and put in there F for flipper, L for landlord, W for wholesaler, whatever the case is, or first-time home buyer, right? Move-up buyer. Maybe somebody's good at giving you referrals, so now notate that. So what I'm getting at is when you have a systematic way of identifying your records in your database, then you can do what's called targeted marketing. You don't send a blast to the entire database. I mean, you can do that once in a while, but particularly you send targeted marketing, speaking specific language patterns to that specific crowd. So I would market to a flipper differently than I would market to a first-time homebuyer. Does that make sense? Okay, so when you segment your database that way, and it only takes them every time you enter a record, that's when you add the extra field. Okay, and then you have multiple campaigns you can use to cater to them. In any case, that's one you should always have going on at all times. You can save the booklet as a link. Save it as a Google Drive doc. So you create a link, and then you can send the link out to people as opposed to the document as an attachment. And you don't have to even print these things if you don't want to. It's good to do snail mail too sometimes, but the reality is electronic is always cheaper and faster and better and all that. You can put them on Facebook, LinkedIn, the whole 9 yards. Okay. So let me go back here 1 second. Where's that marketing document? It is. Oh, here it is. Sorry. Okay. Getting listings. You should always be going after listings. Now, granted, we're lucky if you're on a team. We use the lead pipe system where you can select specific targets. I hate to call them targets, specific people based on criteria, like they're absentee owners, they're in foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, they inherited it, whatever the case is. But short of that, you can always do the manual labor to generate leads too. And you should always be sending something to them, postcards at a minimum, okay, that are targeted. More desirable will be actual letters, particularly handwritten letters, okay, and also get their skip trace to get their phone number so you can follow up with a phone call. That's the systematic way to get listings. The manual labor way is to work your farm. I mean, physically go out there at least on a quarterly basis, once every 13 weeks, and hand deliver something to everybody in your farm area on a Saturday when they're most likely to be out. It's one of the oldest techniques in the world, and it's still around today because it's also one of the most productive. I'm telling you, everything we do online is only designed to bring us people to what we call the inner circle, where we have direct contact with them, either in person or online, right? Or their phone or whatever the case is. So when you work a farm area, instead of sending postcards, literally go out and physically be out there with the people. You've got direct contact. They get to see your face, know you, trust you, like you. And if you're wondering, like ever before, I'd like to be like whatever, say Mary, who's had that neighborhood for 15 years and everybody uses Mary. Well, I'm here to tell you, Mary was not born with a real estate license. Okay. She had to get the license and learn how to do this. And you can do the same thing and be like Mary and get, say there's a 300 home neighborhood, statistically will have about a 9% on average, just 9% turnover ratio. In other words, 9% of the properties change hands every year. In 300 homes, what does that come out to? Well, that's 27 homes. How'd you like to have 27 listings in a year from one campaign? Well, that's what's possible. Even if you got, 1/3 of the market share, that's 9 listings, right? For walking around the neighborhood, meeting your neighbors. That's, and I know it's not glamorous, it's not high tech, but guys, I'm telling you, the way the market is today, I mean, there's all kinds of marketing you can do. But if I was you, I'd put on a pair of sneakers and do that campaign. And let me do a quick query here. Let me do stop share. I just want to get an idea. Raise your hand or just chime in if you've ever done that type of marketing, what we just described there. Or just open up your mic and give me some love. So I think I saw a few hands there. Okay, now raise your hands again if you've done it consistently, like you did it for an entire year, like you went around 4 times in the year, something like that. Look at the head, look at the nose. Okay, isn't that amazing? And this is not a combination. This is a reality check. Okay, the fact is the people that really succeed in getting the market, commanding the market share of the neighborhood are consistent and persistent. And I wish they would teach this in college and university, but they don't. Every marketing campaign can work, every single one. The ones that work are the ones you do persistently and consistently. It's just like Denzel Washington said in this video. You have to be persistent and consistent. And, I can tell you all kinds of stories about it. But I learned from this business, and it's been a good self-improvement lesson for me is if you really believe in something and you believe in yourself, don't give up. Just keep going. And I'm being calm about this now. If I was really on my game tonight, I'd be jumping up and down, yelling and screaming. I mean, I am serious. Every quarter, you should be doing that. It's good exercise. You get to meet the people. I mean, over time, everybody's going to have front of mind presence. I got to go to Tom because Tom's the guy in my neighborhood that's in the business, and he gives me information every 3 months. I can count on Tom. He's reliable because I get my information every 3 months. You see how that works, guys? Yep. Hey, Helen, how you doing? Good to see you from beautiful New England.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. So you know what I was thinking of the other day? I know it's been a couple years. Do you remember giving me a I guess you call it like a take home dish?
Your banana bread.
Yeah.
It was only a little over a year ago.
It was? Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a couple years ago. So
Yeah, I felt sorry for you being on the road.
well, I'll tell you what, you definitely played my song, that's for sure, So especially banana bread.
Well, good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, I think I've never. It's funny the things you remember,
Yeah, we'll see if I brought one of those to everybody in my farm. Just think where I'd get.
There you go. Yeah. So, okay, so let's do this. Farm area, absolutely, hands down, should be a regular occurring event, contact method for you on a regular basis. Now, on the investor side, okay. The reason I'm going to mention this, and we're going to take questions and we'll wrap this up today. In any area in the country, okay, probably any area anywhere in the world, you're going to have neighborhoods that are more owner occupant and neighborhoods that are more tenant occupied. You want to determine what those numbers are, just the ratios. It's very easy to do. You can go to USA Data, all kinds of websites you can go to. Okay. And you can get that kind of information. Melissa Data used to give it to us, but they changed their format. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. Instead of resident and I forget what the other categories, now it just says apartments, but it doesn't tell us if they're non-owner occupied or owner occupied. In any case, what I'm getting at is if you determine that your area is 60% owner occupied and 40% tenant occupied, then what that means is 40% of our housing stock is lived in by tenants, right? And those properties change hands just like every other property, which means theoretically 40% of our transactions should be investor transactions in the residential world, owner occupant and investor, anything up to 4 units. But I'm pretty sure 90% of our agents don't do that. They just focus on either owner occupants and a very small percentage focus on investors. But few have a real intentional game plan for both sides of the business. Some people are great with investors, but they just kind of do it accidentally. They get 1 or 2 investors a year and they're happy. What I'm going to encourage you to do is think of your business like a business person and have an intentional marketing plan for owner occupants, like we just described, an intentional marketing plan for investors. Okay, and do the study and go to investor agent. Go to the course. Everybody has it, right? It's last year they changed it from five units to 10 units and a couple of bonus modules. Each one's very short, a lot easier to digest and absorb. There's a written version of the whole thing. There's all kinds of downloads and videos and attachments to supplement it and support it. So definitely do the studying, okay? And then in the marketing, what I recommend here is the booklet can be easily used to determine who your investors are and serve them. You can also use the letter to send to people who need to or want to sell for feeding your investors properties. But also you can do the investor club. You can do the investor group thing. Just a small online group of following. Every month you meet with them. We do it now on the team. We every month we do a whole bunch of them. Eastern time zone, Central, and Mountain and Western are combined. But the point is it's basically a couple hours a month where you get online, you provide some instruction, some information, make it fun, like Mo and Oksana, they make it fun, and you'll find out some months everybody will show up, some months nobody will show up. It's just part of the game. It doesn't mean that you failed. It just means, there's some other factor that was, outside of your game plan. And you keep going because it grows and grows and grows over time. But the reason that's important is it establishes you in the area is a go-to person for small investors, people buying duplexes and flipping homes, okay? Now, there's lots of other things you can do, but if you just did those few things, and by the way, workshop is more of a category 3, level 3 production item. Let me go here real quick. I think it's level 3. There's level 1. Level 2 is all the social media stuff, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and all that. Here it is, level 3.
Your screen, Gary.
Oh, sorry. Let's see here. We should do? We should make a game out of this. Every time I forget to share my screen, the first person that catches it gets free marketing dollars or something like that. How about that?
Excellent.
Yeah, we'll make it fun. Because I don't know what it is about me. I just, for some reason, guys, I turn it off and turn it on and forget. But in any case, I don't want to get into the marketing details tonight. I just want to give you an idea of a really good game plan you can use no matter what your level of production is, because the fundamentals, the basic stuff in level 1, it's not like you stop doing that when you move into level 2 or 3. You keep doing that. You just add on the marketing in level 2 and the marketing in level 3. Does that make sense, guys? So marketing is basically it's like you're building a building, you're building a home. You don't stop what you're doing because it got you where you are. You keep doing that. You just add more to it to grow your business. and you can add a buyer's agent, an admin, things like that. That's really what I wanted to go over with you tonight. Let me just make sure I got my bases covered here. Build your database, serve your database. So if you think about real estate, it can be broken down into two activities. One is building your database, that's one, and two is serving a database, right? And the marketing is either designed to help you either build your database or serve the people in it. That's it. That's you got to have both things going on. That's why you never stop the fundamentals. You should, lead gen every day. I think every single quarter, in addition to your farming activity, the physical in-person walking around, I think you should send something to your database, right? Something meaningful and relevant, right? Don't just send the stuff that everybody else sends. Be unique and set yourself apart from the crowd. Okay. In fact, I'm going to share with you something here. Hang on one second. This is really neat. How do I do this? Let me do this. Hang on one second. This is something I sent out to my team the other day. Okay. Workplace. I have a student in Albuquerque, New Mexico. His name is Mark Rickert. He's one of my oldest students. The awesome friend. We become really good friends. I know his family. I mean, I've been out there a number of times, and he's just one of those creative people that's not afraid to take chances. Okay, so let me go GIA. Whoops, what did I do there? Maybe I'm moving too fast here. GIA. What the heck is going on? Let me move my pictures out of here. That's not me. GIA Team. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. I just want to show you this real quick. It's a hilarious video, and he uses video on YouTube. He created a YouTube channel, just like I did, and he does a monthly update. Maybe it's a weekly update. I can't remember. Hang on while this second loads here. But he made it really quirky and funny. Okay, he made it very personalized. Whoops, there he is. Does he look like a happy, fun guy? Can you guys see that?
Not yet. There we go.
Is it showing up?
Mm-hmm.
Now it does. Yeah.
Oh, what the heck is going on here?
It just shows up now. Right now, it just took a minute, but it's
Okay. His name's Mark Rickert. He's in Albuquerque. He's got a family business in real estate sales. He used to have a radio program, former military, just an amazing life story, some of the things he's overcome. But we stay in touch. We work together. He's got a philanthropic activity going on that we're gonna coordinate on together. And he likes to work with people who serve time, basically people who've been incarcerated and want and need a second chance. Okay, so watch this. Can you guys see it?
Yes.
Oops. Okay, so just bear with me.
Gary, you might have to drop the link for us to watch it because it's glitching and we're not hearing any sound.
Okay, all right, hang on one second. Let me copy the link for you. And I'm gonna drop it in here. Thanks, Targan, for letting me know. Where's my chat box? Okay, what I want you guys to do is this. Actually, let's really surprise Mark. If you could watch his video, and then after you're done watching it, come down here and like click the like button and then subscribe. Okay. And I told him we're going to get 100 followers for him, because you get 100 followers, 100 subscribers on YouTube, they give you a page, a web page. Okay, pretty neat. So, but I want you to see how creative you can be. He spent no money on this, not one dime. Just him being willing to step outside his comfort zone and talk about the market and show the local dog park. He always promotes something locally. In this case, it had to be a dog park. Okay. Any case, so back to this. So this, by the way, so that would be a good way of doing like keeping up with your database on a monthly basis. That's something that's fun and entertaining and informative, and something they'll actually watch, right? So back to this. We talked about your farm. Another thing I think you should work on at all times is reaching out to vendors, carpeting companies, kitchen companies, insurance companies, of course, attorneys, lenders, car dealerships, boat dealerships. Develop relationships with them, all right? And they will want to serve your client base, okay? They'll want to serve your client base. And you can do joint ventures with them. You can also create your own B&I group, okay? I'm getting way off on a rabbit hole here, but B&Is are easy to do, and most of them are already filled up, so might as well create your own. There's a list in the workshop, on the website, the marketing campaign, it says joint ventures. Look in there in a checklist, there's a list of 20 potential vendors, okay? Keep up with them just quarterly. When the virus lifts and we get back outside, you can do joint ventures, okay? And you can share clients, which is really important. And last but not least, two things. You should always communicate online with people who are online on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. It only takes minutes a day, but keep doing that. I tell you, I get referrals at least weekly from people. So it seems like daily lately that I farm out to you guys. Okay, they all come because I communicate with people online. Now, if you're doing the gig, we call that it's like a class. You're putting on a class. When you use the word class, do you think people are more likely to resonate with that as opposed to saying a monthly meeting? Like, what sounds better, a monthly meeting or monthly class?
Class.
So call it class. So we're gonna have this next month's class, we're going to talk about flipping houses, that kind of a thing. So, my golly, I think I did it, and we got 2 minutes to go. I don't know how I managed to do that. So let's do this. If we have questions, now will be a good time to ask him. I'm going to check the chat box. What did you say he gets if he gets 100? I think, Melanie, he told me on YouTube, if you get 100 followers, they give you a website or a web page or something like that. I don't know. I don't have one. I should probably look and see how many followers I've got. I might have more than 100 actually. But there's a big benefit to hitting the 100 mark, So YouTube works, guys. I'm living proof. I'm telling you, I use it. I don't know how many, I've got YouTube channel, Real Estate with Gary Wilson, with at least 6 playlists. Let's just go there real quick and see. YouTube. Real Estate with Gary Wilson. Okay, hang on 1 second. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 playlists. Sorry, I'm more than that. My gosh, it's 15 playlists, 16 playlists. And altogether, and I've probably got easily 100 videos. There's more videos that are not in playlists, by the way. This might tell us how many. And I'm not sure how many subscribers I've got. Let's go to home and see if it'll tell me. That's 122 views on that. And does anybody know how to tell how many followers you have on your 142? There you go. How much money do you think I spent getting 142 followers? Zero. That's been going a while, but you know what? Low level of activity. Every week I get a phone call or email from somebody saying, "Hey, I saw your video. Do you still do that class?" Whatever it is. And of course I say, yes, I do. How can I help you? You know? Any case, let me stop the share screen again here. Where am I? Oops. Okay. All right. Let me just close that out and go back here. It's still not working. In any case, guys, let's open up. What questions do you have? Is it everybody ready for some cake?
There's a question that somebody sent to me on accident. They wanted to send it to the whole group, and it was about asking if anyone's created a vision board on Pinterest. And I haven't done that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I have not done that. Has anybody done that? Any affirmatives, hand raises? Okay. Yep.
I think I did it a while ago, but the question I would have is, how do you stop other people from seeing it? Because I think everybody can see your vision boards or your pictures. But it's very easy to do it with that. There's lots of great pictures, and it's a good place to do it.
Well, it could be that the purpose would be actually to let people see it, because there's a part of the philosophy is when you speak it, you know, it becomes real, and when you share it through a medium like Instagram, other people see it, and you can help it become real for them. If it becomes real for them, it's obviously real for you. So, I mean, obviously, things that are private and personal, you might want to keep out there, but I'd say if it's for good, absolutely put it out there. You know, I mean, Melanie, that's probably the intention. As I'm guessing, that's why they're doing that. Yeah, yeah. Now, having said that, I know students who don't even want to share theirs with me, and I'm okay with that. There's never any pressure to do that, but it does help me help people the more I know. You know.
Hey, Gary.
Yeah.
Mo here. I had a quick question about the like the direct campaign for your farm, because I'm actually working on my booklet right now. I know initially you hit the whole subdivision, and I know we use the letter campaign where we specifically call out their name and say that, you know, we have a buyer that's interested.
Yep.
So do we do that for the first blast of the entire subdivision, or do we only do it when we go for the bi-weekly, when we hit the properties where things have changed around them? I was just trying to figure out how to structure my first one.
Yeah, actually, it's two different campaigns, Mo. So the letter campaign is where we specifically seek out certain people that we know need to or want to sell, like people in, you know, foreclosure, and we send a letter. The booklet, when you're doing your farming, that's more about providing information, you know, meaningful, relevant content, and then making an offer in the back, you know, free search of properties, free home evaluation, but more importantly, having discussions with the neighbors and listening for the questions like, well, what do you think my home would sell for? And that's a direct indicator that they're interested in selling. So you work towards an appointment. So in the booklet, you wouldn't necessarily say, I have clients like so-and-so who want to buy a property like yours. Now, if you do have that, a person who you know for a fact wants to move in that neighborhood, and you're using the booklet farming campaign, you can put that in your introductory letter. When you open it up, the inside cover, right? The inside cover, when you're, you know, tell them about the statistics and letting them know your, you know, your ABR and CRS and things like that. And so you could say, you know, in fact, I have a client, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, who are interested in buying in this specific neighborhood. You know, you can. I've never done that, but I think you can do that as long as it's legitimate. But that phrase generally is used for the letter campaign, you know, that you actually send in the mail, not hand deliver. The booklet, hand deliver, more about establishing yourself as the guru for the neighborhood, you know.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So,
Gary, I've actually oh gosh, it was about 10 days ago, I started that farming marketing campaign for residential. It wasn't necessarily focused toward investors, but it was a thinking about selling because I've got, you know, clients that are looking in a specific area, and it was in my farm neighborhood. So I put in, there's actually 200 homes in the neighborhood through the direct mail service, which came through EXP I used, when they actually sent them out, it went out to 190 of the homes, I guess qualified through their, you know, whatever kind of criteria they use to qualify it as a good address. And so anyway, those just came out in the mail this week, and you know, that neighborhood is just getting those. So I haven't heard anything yet, but I'm hopeful. There's, you know, 190 of them out there. It's in a neighborhood that's got that, I think I told you about before. It's a 7 and higher for attrition rate.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds, I would keep that going. And then if you want to share that, if you have a way of taking a picture or sharing that too, we can look at it on the next strategy call too.
Okay.
But remember, the key to direct mail is the repetition. And I mean, literally 12 times. You know, some people do it once and give up, 3 times and give up. It's hard to be persistent and disciplined. But I think if you combine that with hand delivering or walking around in some way, shape, or form, that direct contact, the two working together are more powerful than just doing one or the other, you know?
Okay.
Yep. Anytime you can combine a phone call with a visit, delivered something relevant and meaningful with a visit, that's a powerful marketing combination, you know? Yep. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
How can you find out, as far as for an apartment complex, if you want to know, you know, their vacancy rates, how can you find or figure that out? Or besides, I mean, is it as simple as just calling the front office to say, or is there some other way to dig to find that out?
In a particular complex, I think that could be difficult. However, the Postal Service does have that data. The trick is I don't know that they get that specific. It's usually by carrier route within zip code. Now, if a building's built big enough, they may have its own carrier route, you know? So that's where you can get vacancy rate. Now they do track individual units. So we know that for a fact. You can use like the software, RealFlow software. It tells us it's precise, it's by unit. But I don't know how they do it. The software. All I know is I use like Melissa data, right? Melissa.com, and that gives it to you based on carrier route, which is very finite. That's about as close as I've been able to get myself targeting. So in a particular building, you could ask the post office. You can go online and post that question and see if they have that and how can you get it, you know?
Okay, so it's more or less saying, like, you know, if Acme apartment complex has 6 units, go put in Acme accounting or Acme apartments, and then the Postal Service, and more or less should somewhere or somehow maybe tell me if there's, you know, 42 vacant versus, you know, 1,000 units, but we only delivered to 800. So I know that there's 200, something like that are vacant. Assume that. Is that what you're saying, more or less?
Well, I believe they can actually tell the individual units too.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just haven't done that myself, so I'm not sure. Especially now with the virus, I'm not sure if you can go in and visit the post office. But they have them tagged based on mail piling up and things like that. It's actually, that's how they determine it. You know, if mail's not being picked up, after so many times they consider it vacant, and or if they've been notified that it's vacant, then they have that information too. You know, somebody sent in a notice, don't deliver mail for 1 month or whatever. Yep. But I know people that have worked apartment complexes, and they just basically market to every single unit. I know a lender used to do a special event every quarter for a different apartment complex. The owner let him do that on lending, and you know, behind the scenes, his name was Dan. He would invite me, and I don't think he told the owner he was inviting a realtor for obvious reasons. But but obviously I took advantage of the opportunity and said, how many people have ever wanted to own a home before? Who wants to be a homeowner, right? And half the hands will go up. I said, great, I got a booth back here with a bunch of information I'd like to give you. Please provide me your name and phone number and email. And that's what we did, you know?
Hey, Gary, there's a software called REI Sift. If
Okay.
you take all the addresses of the apartment building and put it through there, it will tell you if it's a good address and if the address is vacant.
Okay,
If you're buying leads in bulk, you could run them through this software and it will take out the bad leads. Save
how
you
about
money on
that?
postcards.
Would you mind type that in the chat box, Tom? REI Shift?
Yep.
Is that the link? Yeah. Oh,
When we talked, I guess it was last week, I was telling you how the area that I'm in is like a mix of single family homes that are rentals and actually homeowners. Now, if I go and I want to target, let's say just one, what would be the best way to do that? Just print out the list of homes I have, or and just make a plan to walk, or what would you suggest?
well, part of what you said in the beginning broke up, so I wasn't quite clear on the actual. I got most of it, but there was one critical part. It just blanked out when you were speaking.
I had told you in the area I'm in, it's part rental and part homeowner.
Yes.
And I was trying to figure out the best way when I do go out to the area. Do I take stuff to target both, like say a booklet and then something for renters?
Oh,
Or
yes. If you can segregate and you know which ones are owner occupied, which ones are non-owner occupied, absolutely have two satchels, and you just got to keep track of. You don't want to get it mixed up. But if you're going to take the effort to go out there and walk around, absolutely, yeah, you definitely want to multitask. Yep.
okay.
Yeah. Hey guys, I've actually got to get hopping. I'm supposed to be on a student call, and he's texting me, and I feel bad because we're really going hot and heavy here. If you guys want to continue, I can blank myself out, just mute myself and cover my video or something. If you want to continue, I don't mind. I'll just sit here and make my phone call. You guys want to keep going? You want to go ahead and call it a day? Remember, this is not a dictatorship. These classes are yours.
I have to jump off, but thank you very, very much. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Hey guys, and thank you for participating. And Tom, thanks for the tip there. Appreciate that. Helen, thank you for the banana bread.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you guys Monday night. Okay.
All right, take care. Thank you.
You too. Take care. God bless.